Ladies and gentlemen, today let us reflect on an obsession that has become all too common in the world today, the obsession with winning. It's an idea we have nurtured, shaped, and placed at the center of our existence, believing that victory is the ultimate pursuit. But let me ask you this, what does winning truly mean? And is it really the answer to our fulfillment and peace? Winning, in its simplest form, is the act of surpassing others. But in our quest to conquer, we often forget that the true victory lies not in the outcome, but in the process itself. When we are fixated on the idea of winning, we miss the beauty of the journey, the growth, and the transformation that occurs along the way. The obsession with victory can create a narrow view of life where every action, every breath, is geared toward a single result. But life, my friends, is not a race. It is an experience. In today's world, we are often taught that success is synonymous with winning. From a young age, we are conditioned to see victory as the highest achievement. But if we look closely, we realize that this idea is a fallacy, an illusion that blinds us from understanding the deeper essence of success. We chase after a notion that is external and fleeting, believing that by surpassing others, we will somehow arrive at a place of fulfillment and contentment. The idea of winning is built on comparison and competition. It thrives on the belief that there is a limited amount of success to go around, that only one can truly rise above the rest. This kind of mindset encourages a constant measuring of oneself against others. But in this race, the more you focus on overtaking others, the more disconnected you become from your own journey. When your self-worth is tied to the outcome of comparison, you are bound to live a life of perpetual dissatisfaction. Even when you win, you will constantly seek new benchmarks to outdo yourself, and the happiness that comes with victory will be short-lived. True success is not about surpassing someone else, it is about aligning with your own deepest aspirations. It is about being true to yourself, regardless of how the world around you measures success. When you let go of the external markers of winning, you open yourself to a new possibility, the possibility of growing, evolving, and being at peace with who you are, independent of external circumstances. The fixation on winning also tends to skew our understanding of what is truly important. It leads us to place value only on measurable outcomes, on goals, awards, and titles. This kind of thinking narrows our focus and blinds us to the richness of life that exists beyond these markers. In the pursuit of winning, we forget the richness of the experiences, the relationships, and the internal shifts that shape us. Victory at the cost of these deeper aspects leaves us with an emptiness that no trophy can fill. Moreover, the obsession with winning often brings with it the fear of failure. When we define ourselves by whether we win or lose, the prospect of failure becomes unbearable. We avoid taking risks, exploring new avenues, or embracing challenges because the thought of not winning feels like an unbearable defeat. But failure, as we often forget, is not the opposite of success, it is a part of the process. It is an essential teacher, one that shows us where we need to grow, how we need to improve, and what new perspectives we need to consider. In reality, true success comes from within, and it cannot be defined by any external measure. It is not about being better than someone else, it is about becoming the best version of yourself. When we stop measuring success by winning and losing, we free ourselves from the chains of comparison. We are no longer caught in a never-ending race to prove our worth. Instead, we start to realize that we are already enough as we are. This understanding is where true success lies: peace, contentment, and the freedom to embrace life as it is, not as we are told it should be. In a world where external validation is often considered the ultimate form of recognition, it becomes all too easy to become dependent on the approval of others. From the moment we step into society, we are taught that our worth is tied to how others perceive us. Whether it's in the form of praise, recognition, or accolades, this constant craving for validation can become a powerful force that shapes our choices, actions, and even our sense of self. But in our pursuit of external approval, we risk losing sight of who we truly are and what truly matters. The need for external validation can lead to a life dominated by the desire to please others. We may find ourselves conforming to social expectations, chasing after goals set by the opinions and standards of those around us rather than following our own inner compass. When our actions are motivated by the desire to be recognized, we may begin to neglect our authentic desires, values, and aspirations. Instead of living according to our true nature, we start to live for others, shaping ourselves to fit into a mold that may not align with who we truly are. This reliance on external validation also places us in a vulnerable position. When our worth is tied to others' approval, our sense of identity becomes fragile. The fluctuations of praise and criticism, the changing opinions of the world around us can cause us to feel either elated or crushed, depending on the moment. One moment we may feel on top of the world, basking in the approval of others. The next, we may be left feeling worthless when we fail to meet expectations or face disapproval. Our emotional well-being becomes a roller coaster driven by the shifting winds of external opinions. Furthermore, the quest for external validation often leads to a sense of emptiness. Even when we do receive the praise or recognition we desire, it may not bring lasting satisfaction. The approval of others is, by its very nature, fleeting and conditional. It is based on perceptions that can change in an instant, leaving us perpetually chasing after the next form of recognition. In this cycle, we find ourselves constantly seeking more, never fully content with what we have achieved or who we are. The moment we rely on others to define our worth, we give away the power to define ourselves. External validation can also make us blind to our own progress and growth. When we are focused on meeting others' expectations, we may fail to recognize the intrinsic value of our efforts. Success is no longer measured by the inner satisfaction of achieving a goal, but by the recognition it brings from the outside world. This shift in perspective causes us to lose touch with the deeper personal rewards of our work. We stop appreciating the lessons we learn along the way, the growth we experience, and the satisfaction of knowing we did something for the pure joy of doing it. In this world of constant comparisons and social judgments, the pressure to gain external validation can also hinder creativity and innovation. When we are consumed with the need to please others, we become risk-averse. The fear of judgment or rejection stops us from thinking outside the box or pursuing our unique passions. Instead, we may fall into a pattern of playing it safe, doing what is expected of us rather than exploring our full potential. The more we chase after validation, the more we limit ourselves to the expectations of others, stifling our own growth and the true expression of our individuality. Finally, the pursuit of external validation leads to a disconnect from our true purpose. It diverts our attention away from the internal motivations that drive us and places our focus on external rewards. By relying on others for our sense of worth, we detach from the deeper calling within us, the one that speaks of authenticity, passion, and inner fulfillment. True purpose comes not from what others think of us, but from aligning with the very essence of who we are. When we shift our focus from seeking validation to seeking personal truth, we find a lasting sense of fulfillment that cannot be swayed by external opinions. In the end, external validation, though seemingly rewarding, is a fleeting and fragile source of strength. It cannot provide the deep, lasting satisfaction that comes from knowing and accepting ourselves as we truly are. When we release our dependence on others' approval, we regain our power and our peace. We begin to live from within, grounded in our own truth and free from the need to seek validation from the world around us. We often hear about the destination, about where we are headed, what we are working toward, and what success will look like when we finally reach it. We are taught to focus on the end goal, to keep our eyes fixed on the prize. Yet, in doing so, we miss the deeper significance of the journey itself. The truth is, the journey is where life truly happens. It is in the process, in each step, that we grow, learn, and discover who we truly are. The journey is not just about moving from one place to another, from one achievement to the next. It is about transformation. Every moment along the way offers an opportunity for change, for insight, for learning. The challenges we face, the obstacles that seem insurmountable, and the unexpected turns are not hindrances to our progress. They are the very things that shape us. They forge our character, refine understanding, and deepen our resilience. Without these moments, the journey would be empty, and the destination would lack meaning. When we focus solely on the outcome, we miss out on the richness that the journey offers. The beauty of life is not just in reaching a particular milestone, but in how we evolve and transform along the way. Each moment in the journey holds lessons that we cannot find in the destination alone. It is through the trials, the joys, and the ordinary moments that we learn the most about ourselves. When we let go of the obsession with the end goal, we free ourselves to experience life in its fullness, unfolding, growing, and evolving with each passing day. The journey is also where our true potential is revealed. In the face of difficulty, we discover strengths we didn't know we had. In the quiet moments, we unearth our deepest desires. It is through the process that we find what truly matters to us, what inspires us, and what gives us meaning. The destination, when it arrives, is often a reflection of this inner transformation. But the transformation happens in the journey itself, not once we've arrived. There is also a deep freedom that comes from embracing the journey. When we become too fixated on the outcome, we start to live in anticipation of what is to come, often missing the present moment. We constantly measure ourselves against the future, always striving for what lies ahead, and as a result, we forget to appreciate where we are now. The journey asks us to be present, to engage fully with the process, to savor the small moments, and to find contentment in the here and now. When we release the need for constant achievement and simply engage with the journey, we open ourselves to a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment. Furthermore, the journey invites us to understand that life is not a linear progression. We often think that we must move in a straight line from one success to another, with each step bringing us closer to our ultimate goal. But life is rarely so predictable. The twists, turns, and detours are not failures, they are a part of the greater unfolding. They are the moments that reveal new paths, new opportunities, and new perspectives. Each twist in the road holds the possibility of growth, a new layer of understanding, and a deeper connection to who we are becoming. When we embrace the power of the journey, we let go of the need to control everything. We stop trying to force outcomes and allow ourselves to flow with the natural rhythm of life. The more we surrender to the journey, the more we allow life to reveal its beauty and richness. We stop seeing life as something to be conquered and instead begin to see it as something to be experienced. Every step along the way becomes a source of wonder, curiosity, and discovery. Through the power of the journey, we also learn the importance of patience. We live in a world that values instant results, quick fixes, and immediate gratification. But real transformation takes time. It is the slow, steady process of growth that brings lasting change. The journey teaches us to trust the timing of life, to trust that everything unfolds as it should. We no longer need to rush, because we understand that the real value lies in the experiences, the lessons, and the moments that make up the path. As we move forward in life, the journey becomes a reflection of our inner state. The more present we are, the more aware we are of the process, the more we learn to embrace the uncertainties, the more we find peace. The destination will come in its own time, but it is the journey that transforms us. It is where we learn to truly live, not just to survive, and it is where we find the deepest fulfillment. Ultimately, the journey is not about getting somewhere. It is about becoming. Every moment along the path is an opportunity to refine, to reflect, to grow, and to be. When we focus on the journey itself, we discover that the destination was never the point. The point is who we become in the process. The journey is where life truly happens, where all the magic lies, and where our fullest potential is realized. In our culture, losing is often viewed as the ultimate failure, something to be avoided at all costs. From the earliest days of our lives, we are taught to win, to be the best, to come out on top. Losing in this framework is seen as a defeat, a negative outcome that tarnishes our sense of self-worth and diminishes our value. But in reality, losing is not a defeat at all. It is simply a part of the process, a stepping stone on the path to growth, understanding, and eventual success. When we lose, we are presented with an opportunity to reflect, to analyze, and to improve. Losing is not the end of the road, but rather a moment in the journey that can teach us valuable lessons if we are open to them. It is in the moments when we fall short that we have the chance to examine ourselves honestly and ask, what went wrong? What can I do differently next time? This kind of self-reflection is essential for growth, and it is only through facing our losses with an open heart and mind that we can truly progress. Losing can also teach us resilience. When we face setbacks, we are forced to pick ourselves up and try again. This process builds strength, both mental and emotional. The ability to rise after a fall is one of the greatest skills we can develop in life. It is in the face of loss that we discover our capacity to persevere, to continue moving forward despite the challenges. Losing does not break us, it builds us, shaping our character and fortifying our resolve. Each loss carries with it the seed of a new strength, a deeper resilience that will carry us through future trials. In addition to resilience, losing helps us cultivate humility. When we win, it can be easy to become arrogant, to believe that we are invincible or untouchable. But losing brings us back to earth, reminding us that we are not infallible. It teaches us that success is not always guaranteed and that failure is a part of the human experience. Losing helps us understand that our worth is not defined by our victories alone. It strips away the ego and teaches us the importance of staying grounded, of remaining humble in both success and failure. Furthermore, losing offers us the chance to learn and to adapt. Every loss carries valuable insights that cannot be gained in the same way through victory. When we lose, we are forced to confront our limitations and weaknesses. We see the areas where we need to grow and improve. Losing reveals gaps in our knowledge, our skills, or our approach. Rather than viewing it as a setback, we can choose to see it as a teacher, offering us the guidance we need to evolve. It is through losing that we refine our strategies, sharpen our abilities, and become better versions of ourselves. In fact, losing can often lead to unexpected opportunities. It forces us to think differently, to explore new perspectives, and to consider alternative paths. Sometimes a loss redirects us towards something better, something more aligned with our true purpose. A failure in one area leads us to a breakthrough in another. The key is in how we respond to loss. Do we dwell on it, allowing it to define us, or do we take it as a lesson and use it to fuel our next step forward? The choice is always ours. Losing also teaches us the value of effort and perseverance. In a world that values results above all else, it is easy to overlook the importance of the effort itself. But the true value lies not in the outcome, but in the process, the determination, the persistence, the courage to continue even when things don't go our way. Losing teaches us to focus on giving our best, not on achieving perfection. It reminds us that effort is a worthy pursuit, regardless of the outcome, because it is through our efforts that we grow, develop, and evolve. The real victory is in the courage to try, to put in the work, and to continue striving even when we don't immediately succeed. Moreover, losing can shift our perspective on what it means to succeed. In the conventional view, success is always tied to victory, to being number one. But the truth is, success is a much more personal and individual experience. It is not always about the accolades, the trophies, or the recognition. Success can simply be about showing up, about doing our best, about learning from our mistakes and becoming better because of them. Losing helps us redefine success, not as an external achievement, but as an internal journey, a journey of growth, learning, and self-improvement. When we release the notion that losing is defeat, we free ourselves from the fear that often holds us back from taking risks. If we fear that losing equates to failure, we will avoid situations where we might not succeed. This fear can limit our potential and prevent us from exploring new opportunities. But when we understand that losing is not the end, we become willing to take chances, to step outside of our comfort zones, and to face challenges with a sense of curiosity rather than dread. We see failure not as a threat, but as an invitation to grow. Ultimately, losing is not something to be feared, nor is it something to be ashamed of. It is a natural and necessary part of life, a moment that presents us with the opportunity to learn, to grow, and to evolve. Losing is not the opposite of winning, it is an essential element of success itself. It teaches us resilience, humility, and perseverance. It opens the door to deeper self-awareness, new opportunities, and greater wisdom. The true defeat lies not in losing, but in allowing ourselves to be defined by our losses, rather than learning from them and using them as stepping stones toward greater growth. In the modern world, we have created a culture that places immense value on winning. From sports to business to social status, success is often defined by how much we can outdo others and achieve more. Winning is celebrated, and those who achieve it are often held up as examples of excellence, the epitome of success. While this drive to succeed can push individuals to perform at their highest level, the obsession with winning comes with hidden consequences. One of the most insidious effects is the exhaustion it creates. The constant pursuit of victory, the need to prove ourselves time and time again, can lead to physical, mental, and emotional depletion. When we are solely focused on winning, we become consumed by the goal, relentlessly striving for more without taking the time to replenish ourselves. We push our bodies beyond their limits, neglecting the need for rest, recovery, and balance. The need to be the best, to come out on top, becomes all-encompassing, and in doing so, we lose sight of the fact that we are human beings, not machines. This obsession with winning leads to a cycle of never-ending hustle, where there is always something more to be achieved, another milestone to surpass, and a new competition to face. The bar is constantly raised, and we find ourselves in a race that has no finish line. As soon as one goal is achieved, another is set, and the chase continues without pause. This constant striving for more can create a sense of emptiness, because even when we win, the satisfaction is fleeting. The momentary joy of victory fades quickly, replaced by the pressure of the next challenge. We become so fixated on the outcome that we forget to enjoy the process, the journey, and the experiences that come with it. Emotionally, the obsession with winning can also create a sense of insecurity. When we tie our self-worth to our ability to succeed, we begin to measure our value based on external achievements. Every loss, every setback feels like a blow to our identity. We define ourselves by our successes and failures, unable to see beyond the results of our efforts. This creates a constant cycle of anxiety and stress. We live in fear of losing, of not measuring up, and of falling short of the expectations we place on ourselves and those set by others. The emotional toll is profound. Instead of feeling a sense of fulfillment, we are left with a persistent, nagging sense of inadequacy that only grows as we push harder to achieve more. The pressure to always be winning can also affect our relationships with others. When we are caught in the pursuit of success, we often neglect the people who matter most. We become so focused on achieving and outperforming that we fail to nurture the connections in our lives. Family, friends, and even colleagues may begin to feel secondary as the drive to win overshadows everything else. We may isolate ourselves from those around us, focusing only on our goals, which results in a lack of support and meaningful connection. This can lead to a sense of loneliness and disconnection, despite outward appearances of success. Furthermore, the obsession with winning leads to a distorted view of life. Instead of seeing life as a series of experiences, each with its own value and purpose, we view it solely through the lens of competition. The richness of life, the learning, the growth, the connections become secondary to the race for victory. We become fixated on outcomes, forgetting that success is not solely defined by external achievements. Life is not a constant battle to prove ourselves. It is a journey filled with opportunities to grow, to experience, and to evolve. But when we are obsessed with winning, we lose sight of this and begin to measure our worth by how much we achieve, how many victories we accumulate, and how far ahead of others we can get. This single-minded pursuit also leads to a constant state of burnout. The relentless drive to win can quickly take a toll on our health. The stress, the pressure, the anxiety, all of these weigh heavily on the body and mind. We may experience physical symptoms such as fatigue, insomnia, or even chronic illness. Mentally, we can find ourselves overwhelmed, unable to focus, and unable to recharge. The pursuit of winning becomes a drain on our energy, leaving us with little left to invest in other areas of life. We become stuck in a cycle of exhaustion, never truly resting or recovering, always pushing forward with the belief that success is the ultimate cure to all our troubles. When we are caught up in the obsession with winning, we also fail to recognize the importance of balance. The need to achieve at all costs often means that we sacrifice other aspects of our lives. We may neglect our health, our relationships, and our personal growth, all in the name of success. But balance is essential to a fulfilling life. Without it, we risk burning out, feeling disconnected, and ultimately losing sight of what truly matters. The obsession with winning leads to an imbalance where success becomes the sole focus, leaving little room for the things that bring true joy, contentment, and well-being. Moreover, this constant push for victory can prevent us from truly enjoying the moment. When we are always looking ahead to the next goal, the next challenge, or the next win, we miss the beauty of what is happening right now. Life is a series of moments, each one valuable in its own right. But when we are obsessed with winning, we overlook the present in our quest for the future. We may fail to appreciate the people around us, the simple pleasures of life, and the small victories that are part of the journey. Our obsession with winning causes us to rush through life, never fully immersed in the experiences that can bring us true happiness and fulfillment. This constant chase for victory also makes it difficult to savor success when it does come. Winning, in the traditional sense, is seen as the end goal, the pinnacle of achievement. But the truth is that the satisfaction derived from winning can be short-lived when it is pursued relentlessly. The moment we reach the top, the goalposts move and the need to win again takes over. We become trapped in a cycle of success that never truly satisfies, constantly striving for more without ever finding contentment. The exhaustion that results is not only physical but also emotional and psychological, leaving us feeling disconnected from the things that once brought us joy and meaning. In the end, the obsession with winning creates a life that is dominated by stress, anxiety, and exhaustion. The pursuit of victory, while seemingly noble, can quickly become a trap that drains us of our energy, our creativity, and our sense of peace. When we place too much importance on winning, we lose sight of the things that truly matter: our health, our relationships, our happiness. Success should not come at the cost of our well-being. It is essential to recognize that winning is not everything and that balance, rest, and connection are just as important to living a fulfilling life. In a world constantly pushing for external validation and achievement, it is easy to believe that true fulfillment lies in what we attain or how others perceive us. We are taught that happiness and satisfaction come from accomplishments, possessions, social status, or the approval of others. While these things can offer temporary pleasure or a sense of success, they are not the sources of lasting fulfillment. True fulfillment comes from within, rooted in the depths of our own being, and is nourished by our connection to our inner selves. External achievements, no matter how grand, are fleeting. Success in the eyes of society may bring a sense of accomplishment in the moment, but it does not address the deeper need for inner peace, contentment, and a sense of purpose. When we tie our fulfillment to external factors, we set ourselves up for a life of uncertainty. What happens when the accolades fade or when we no longer achieve at the level we once did? The very foundation of our fulfillment becomes shaky, dependent on things that are constantly changing and outside of our control. The truth is that external success or possessions cannot create lasting satisfaction because they do not fulfill our most fundamental needs. These may provide us with temporary pleasure or social recognition, but they do not bring the lasting peace that comes from within. True fulfillment is not about what we accumulate or achieve. It is about how we feel in the quiet moments when no one is watching, when there are no awards or accolades, and when there is no outward measure of success. It is the feeling of contentment that arises from living in alignment with our true values, purpose, and sense of self. In this sense, fulfillment is not something that can be found through external sources, but rather through the process of self-discovery. It requires looking inward, exploring our own minds and hearts, and coming to understand who we truly are, beyond the roles we play or the labels society places on us. When we become in tune with ourselves, we begin to recognize what truly matters to us, not what we are told should matter, but what resonates deeply with our core being. It is through this process of self-awareness and self-acceptance that we begin to experience true fulfillment. One of the key aspects of inner fulfillment is acceptance. When we stop chasing after an ideal version of ourselves, when we cease striving to be someone we are not in order to please others or meet external expectations, we can begin to relax into who we truly are. Fulfillment comes from embracing ourselves as we are, flaws, imperfections, and all. It is in accepting ourselves fully, without judgment or the need for approval, that we open the door to a deep sense of peace and contentment. This kind of fulfillment is not contingent upon success or failure. It is unconditional and independent of external circumstances. Moreover, fulfillment from within requires living authentically. When we align our actions, choices, and decisions with our inner truth, we experience a sense of harmony and satisfaction that cannot be found by living according to the expectations of others. Many people spend their lives chasing after goals that were never truly their own, pursuing success that they thought would bring happiness, but only end up feeling empty and unfulfilled. The moment we begin to live authentically, acting in ways that reflect our true desires, values, and passions, we experience a profound sense of fulfillment. It is not about meeting external goals, but about honoring our own hearts and following our own unique path. Fulfillment also comes from cultivating a sense of gratitude for what we already have. In a society that encourages constant striving and wanting more, it is easy to overlook the abundance that already exists in our lives. True fulfillment is not about waiting for the next big thing or the next accomplishment to bring us happiness. It is about recognizing the richness of the present moment and being grateful for the simple joys that life offers. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to what we already have, allowing us to find contentment and peace in the here and now. Inner fulfillment is also nurtured through mindfulness and presence. When we learn to live in the present moment, free from the distractions of the past or the future, we experience a deeper sense of connection to ourselves and to life itself. The constant pursuit of future goals or the rumination over past mistakes can rob us of the present moment, leaving us anxious, restless, and unsatisfied. True fulfillment arises when we can let go of the need to control or worry about what is yet to come, and instead fully embrace the now. By cultivating mindfulness, we become more attuned to the richness of each moment, finding joy and fulfillment in the simple acts of living. Furthermore, fulfillment comes from cultivating inner peace. In a world that often feels chaotic and overwhelming, we may find ourselves constantly seeking external solutions to our stress and anxiety. We may turn to achievements, possessions, or external validation to quiet the noise within. However, true peace comes not from external sources but from within. It is a state of mind, a deep sense of calm and balance that arises when we learn to quiet the mind, let go of worries, and trust in the natural flow of life. Inner peace creates the fertile ground for fulfillment to grow, as it allows us to experience life with clarity, openness, and ease. The pursuit of external success often leads to a never-ending cycle of dissatisfaction, as the more we achieve, the more we feel we need to achieve. However, when we turn inward and seek fulfillment from within, we break free from this cycle. We begin to realize that fulfillment does not lie in what we accumulate or accomplish, but in the way we approach life, the way we relate to ourselves and others, and the peace we find in the present moment. This kind of fulfillment is not dependent on external conditions. It is a deep wellspring of contentment that comes from being true to ourselves and living with authenticity, gratitude, and mindfulness. When we make the choice to seek fulfillment from within, we stop looking for it in external circumstances or achievements. We recognize that the peace and happiness we seek are already within us, waiting to be uncovered. This realization empowers us to live life with greater freedom and joy, knowing that true fulfillment is not something that can be attained through external means, but something that arises naturally when we connect with our true selves. It is a state of being, a deep sense of contentment that comes from within, and it is always available to us no matter where we are or what is happening around us. In conclusion, true fulfillment is not found in the constant pursuit of external success, validation, or possessions. It comes from within, nourished by self-awareness, acceptance, authenticity, and mindfulness. By looking inward and cultivating a deep connection to ourselves, we discover that fulfillment is not a distant goal to be achieved, but a state of being that is always available to us. When we stop chasing after external achievements to define our worth and instead focus on nurturing our inner peace, gratitude, and presence, we unlock a profound sense of contentment that transcends fleeting successes and failures. Fulfillment is not something to be attained, it is something to be realized, embraced, and lived from the depths of who we truly are.